Hello everyone, I am UnsungNPC here with another class video, and today we are going to be looking at the Magus class. Alright, so the Magus class is one of my favorite classes, because being able to use combat and spells so effectively is a fantastic time. It's the same feeling as when after playing Oblivion, Skyrim finally came out, and you could dual wield magic in one hand and a sword in the other hand, and cha cha cha, and blast blast blast. It's that same feeling. So it's a lot of fun for me, very nostalgic, I think, and yeah. So let's dive right into what the mages can do. So the mages, Eldritch Scion, Sword Saint, and Eldritch Archer are the classes in the base game for Pathfinder Kingmaker. Eldritch Scion Blood Rager, Mind Blade, Skirnir, and Nature Bonded mages are from a mod called Call of the Wild. So we'll be going over those second after all of these base game ones. So if you're interested in that, then stick around after these other archetypes and see what those ones are about. It's an awesome mod. I definitely recommend checking it out. The mages. So the mages gets what's called an Arcane Pool, and these points can be used for giving enhancement to your weapon, but they can also give you other bonuses that you get as you level up. So there are certain bonuses like Flaming Sword or Shocking Sword or Ghost Touch or anything like that. So there's different weapon attributes that you can add to your weapon using these Arcane Pool points. And the Arcane Pool can also be used for special abilities that you gain from your Magus Arcana. Magus Arcana is kind of a selection of different talents and abilities that you can use with your Magus character, and we will be taking a look at those. But that's what the Arcane Pool is. It's a pretty neat trick. I think they're really fun to use. Honestly, it took me a while. There's a Magus companion, and remembering to even use the Arcane Pool points is hard. I'm not good when my companions use so much management with themselves, but once you get the hang of it, it's actually really, really handy and really, really nice for some of those tougher combats. The other thing you get is spell combat. So spell combat allows you to make a spell attack with your sword attack, and then you just take a -2 to all of your melee attacks, being able to do both, kind of like two weapon fighting. Improved spell combat makes it to where you get a +2 to your concentration checks when casting defensively, because if you're like a melee fighter in the thick of it trying to cast spells, it's going to be harder for you to successfully cast those spells. And eventually that increases to +4, and then greater spell access, you gain 6 spells from the wizard spell list, anywhere from 1st to 6th level spells, because those are the ones that the mages has access to, as you can see. So you gain some bonus wizard spells there, which is pretty neat. Then you get the Magus Arcana every now and then you get the True Magus, which is an awesome ability. So you don't have to make concentration checks to cast the spell when you're being threatened, which is awesome. And then you can choose to either increase the DC by 2, the +2 circumstance bonus on any checks made to overcome spell resistance, or +2 on all attack rolls whenever you attack using spell combat, which I think is really, really cool and allows for some variation in the types. Because that's the thing, you don't have to be someone using melee touch spells as a magus if you don't want to. If you want to instead, you can use melee touch spells and deliver them through your weapon and have a free cast there. But if you instead want to be casting DC spells that cause them to use saves and then attack, you can do both of those as well. And I find reasons to use both of them. So True Magus is awesome. I like True Magus a lot. It also makes it to you need to get to level 20, right? So multi-classing as a magus, I think, is very, very tricky, just because unless the multi-classing you're doing is getting you something really, really awesome, I would not give up True Magus. for anything, because that +2 is just too good. The other thing a Magus gets is called Spell Recall. So you can use your Arcane Pool to recall spells you've already cast, which is a very interesting thing. So use number of points equal to the spell's level, and you gain that spell back. And then Improved Spell Recall lets you extend points of equal to half the spell's level. So it only costs half the points to get the spell back, which is awesome. You get some bonus feats. They have to be combat or magic feats, but I think it's cool. You just get some three bonus feats for free there. Arcane Medium Armor. So Magus doesn't have to doesn't have an arcane spell failure chance when casting with light armor. This at 7th level means that you can do it with medium armor, and then at 13th level you're able to cast any spell without incurring any failure chance with heavy armor, which is pretty awesome. And then you also get fighter training at 10th level, so you can qualify for those fighter feats without having to be a fighter, which is important because since a Magus is a more combat-oriented class, there are some fighter feats that you're definitely going to want, and being able to qualify for those is really handy. So that's your basic Magus. I really enjoyed them. If you want to see what kind of spells they get, I mean, there's a lot of there's some wizard spells there. There's a lot of spells that affect your weapon and yourself, and a lot of damaging spells. That's pretty much what it comes down to. There's not really much, if at all, necromancy involved in a Magus spell arsenal. But my favorite spell school not present, but it's okay. Next is the Eldritch Scion, which is a Magus, except you get a sorcerer's bloodline, and bloodline powers and bloodline spells. So as you can see here, you're giving up the spell recall because you become a spontaneous caster, right? So you're not preparing spells or anything like that. You become a spellcaster that is like a sorcerer in that aspect. And then you're also giving up the greater spell access because you don't need wizard spells because you're a sorcerer and you're getting bonus spells from your bloodline. And then the improved and greater spell combat come later in the game for you. So they'll come a little bit later, but that's okay. You still get Magus Arcana, all of your armor bonuses and stuff like that, and you just get to pick a bloodline. And as you can see here, here's all the different bloodlines. And if we just click Infernal, there you go. You get bonus spells, you get powers, and you get the Arcana and the class skills as well. So just like a sorcerer does. So you're really gaining those benefits from a sorcerer while still being able to be combative. If anyone's wanting to make a melee sorcerer, honestly, I would just go with Eldritch Scion instead because it's just better. Sword Saint. Love the Sword Saint. It's a sword specializing class, so it's way more focused on the combat than the actual spells. But for Magus, I like to do a lot of defensive spell buffing rather than damaging spells anyway, and so I think this is a cool pairing for that. So you get spell combat improved, greater. You don't get the wizard spell bonus or the spell recall again, and you don't get true Magus either, but you get all these cool other features. So you get spell strike. Instead of the free melee touch attack normally allowed to deliver the spell, a Magus can make one free melee attack with the weapon as part of casting the spell. So basically, instead of casting your spell and then hitting with the weapon and getting the spell and the weapon, you get to cast the spell and use it and get a free strike on the enemy there, which is really, really cool. You get perfect strike. So you have a chosen weapon you can spend 1 point from your Arcane Pool in order to maximize the weapon damage. So you don't roll, you just take the maximum damage that you could roll, which is awesome. It only works for the base damage dice, right? And if the Sword Saint confirms a critical hit, you can instead spend 2 points from his Arcane Pool to increase the weapon's critical multiplier by 1. So there are even some weapons that do ×4. Increasing that to ×5 is nuts. That's so much more damage on top of maximizing the damage dice. Oh, deadly strikes. You get fighter training 3 levels earlier, which is really cool. You get critical perfection, so you get to add your intelligence bonus to critical hit confirmation with your favorite weapon. And you can use your Magus level in place of your base attack bonus to qualify for any feats, which is awesome because you're taking a penalty to BAB when playing as a Magus. Lethal focus. If you're attacking a flat-footed opponent, you add intelligence modifier to damage. Very, very cool. Counter-strike. If you successfully cast a spell defensively, that enemy provokes an attack of opportunity from the Magus. And then weapon mastery. Automatically confirm all critical threats and have their damage multiplier increased by 1. Automatically. So think, you have a ×4 weapon. You take it to ×5. You spend the points and you take it to ×6. ×6 crit. A ×6 crit. My god. And then lightning draw, which is cool. I love this one. Adding intelligence to your initiative rolls. If you take that and then take improved initiative, your initiative is going to be freaking ridiculous. And then you get candy defense, which is awesome. So you gain intelligence, 1 point of intelligence per level, as much as your modifier is to your AC. So if you get your intelligence like up to +6 after your 6th level, you'll have 6 bonus to your AC, which is awesome. Love that. Superior, you get to take extra attacks of opportunity up to your intelligence modifier as well. And then your initiative roll is automatically a natural 20. Oh man. Yeah. I've played a Sword Saint before and I tried to multi-class it, and there's just so much good stuff that you get later that I don't know how you can multi-class this and justify it. I get, like, some people might say go duelist, but I'm telling you, like, you might as well just stick with the Sword Saint and get more spells and these other powers later on, because they're just so much better than anything the duelist is going to offer you, especially since the duelist offers a lot of things that the Sword Saint already gets. So yeah, this is another one where I'm like, I don't know how I would multi-class this, honestly. Next is Eldritch Archer. Eldritch Archer works exactly the same way as a Magus, except you get it for ranged spell combat as well. That's the only difference. Everything else is exactly the same. So ranged spell combat, which is pretty cool. Next, we're going to get into the archetypes for the from the mod Call of the Wild. It's on the Nexus, made by Holoc92. I suggest checking it out. Here are those. So this is Eldritch Scion, but instead of getting Sorcerer bloodlines, you get Blood Rager bloodlines. So this adds Aberrant, Destined, takes away some from before, and also they have different powers than the Sorcerer ones do. Aberrant, personally, is one of my favorite bloodlines. Destined is also pretty good, especially for Sword Saint. Not Sword Saint, especially for Magus. Sorry. So that's pretty awesome. You do get the greater spell access still. And you can only use these Blood Rager powers while Blood Raging, right? That's your mystical focus. So you get Blood Rage going into Rage just like a Blood Rager was. If you want to know how that kind of works, I did a video on Blood Rager, and you can go check that out. But yeah, other than that, pretty much the same. Get all the same stuff too. Pretty good. You get Mind Blade, which is like a Psychic Magus. So you get a Psychic pool for points that instead of an Arcane pool, but it works very similarly. And then psychics can do this thing where you get to create your weapon as like a psychic weapon instead of having one, which I think is pretty cool. And then eventually you can get dual weapons, where the enhancement bonus is one lower than normal. If you have two weapons starting at level 12, they'll each have two lower than normal. If you use two weapon fighting, you can use your spell combat ability as though you had a hand free. And then you can manifest a psychic weapon as a swift action, and then you can manifest both as a swift action, which is really cool. You still get fighter training as well, and then you get psychic access. So these are like a bonus psychic spells that you get, and that takes the place of spell recall, I believe. So you'll get those bonus, but you still get your Magus Arcana, True Magus, all of that. You're just adding some psychicness to your abilities here. I don't know if they're on here. Telekinetic strikes are on there. Yeah. There are some other psychic spells that are pretty cool, but you'll have to go see what those will be. But this one's pretty cool. It's a good like a dual weapon, and you have to like spawn the weapons each combat. So that's why the swift action bonus is pretty cool, because then you're just like ready to go. It's like dual wielding conjured weapons in Skyrim. A lot of Skyrim references, but that game is too good. So you know when you have conjured daggers or a dagger and a sword or two swords, and you're just like, and then you fight. It's kind of like that, which is pretty awesome. So that's a cool one. We have the Skirnir. This is one of my favorites. Haven't played around with it yet, but just from the look of it, I'm in love with it, and I think that my next playthrough that I will be putting on this channel, I'm going to be playing as this, possibly, because this is a shield wielding magus. So you can channel your spells through your shield, which is awesome. And you can use all types of shields, including tower shields, and do not suffer any arcane spell failure chance with them, which is so good. Your shield also acts as an arcane bond, so being able to use the arcane bond to get a spell back, which is so great. It's one of my favorite things. But yeah, you get arcane shield. You can add the bonus from your arcane pool to your shield and your weapon. It costs both points to do that, but you can now channel it through your shield, while before you couldn't channel it through your shield, which is cool. I really dig that one. So you can use your shield hand to perform somatic components for magus spells if you forfeit the shield's bonus to AC. If you're bonded to a buckler, you retain your bonus to AC. And then you gain improved spell combat at 14th level, and at 19th level, you gain the AC no matter what type of shield you're trying to do with spell combat. Arcane Pool works the same. Magus Arcana, True Magus. You don't get the wizard things. Medium armor, fighter training, heavy armor, spell shield. So you can store a magus spell in a shield by spending 1 point from your Arcane Pool per level of the spell. And then when you shield bash, pow, you'll unleash the spell. And it has to be 3rd level or less. And then greater spell shield. A Skirnir may activate a stored spell as a swift action after being struck in combat. Yeah. So this is like a spell fighter. I freaking love this. There are some really cool shields, especially as like a dex character, because there are some really cool light shields in this game. Like there's Blade Guard and Arrow Guard, which are two magical shields that are just fantastic to use. And I think either one of those would be awesome for this kind of character. So I'm definitely going to be checking this one out, playing around with it. Next is the Nature Bonded Magus. It's pretty self-explanatory, right? You gain a familiar, which is cool. You gain nature spells from the druid spell list every few levels, Woodland Stride, just like a druid or a ranger, and then improved Symbiosis. So Symbiosis, you gain +1 to your natural AC up to +5, and then improved Symbiosis, you gain a +4 to Strength and Con, +6 at 15th level, +8 at 19th level. So this makes you, like, Nature Juice makes you jacked, is basically what it's telling you. Still get True Magus, Counter Strike, Greater Spell Access, Magus Feats, Fighter Training, Armor Types. But this could be a really hefty character with the nature stuff. And the nature magic, there's some really good spells, in my opinion, against the enemy and for buffing purposes that are nature spells. I think this would definitely be worth the look. So those are the classes. So now we're going to skip ahead a few levels to get to, and I already kind of started this, but we're going to get to the Magus Arcana so we can check it out. I already set up some of that beforehand so we didn't have to deal with it. And now we get spell combat, right? Okay. Spells. Boom. Okay. Magus Arcana. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Alright. Here's the Magus Arcana. Arcane Accuracy. This one is one that you just need to take. I think it's just so beneficial. Like, just take it. Getting the your intelligence bonus on all attack rolls till the end of your turn is awesome. So I would just grab that one. Extended Magic, getting a familiar, Maneuver Mastery, Reach Magic, Spell Bending, Wand Mastery, Wand Wielder. And I want to go through these, and if you guys want to read them, then you can pause the video at any point and read the descriptions as I hover over them. Baneblade. Okay. Devoted Blade. Dimension. Empowered. Dimension Strike is also nuts. I use that a lot late game. Enduring Blade. Ghost Blade is always good. Hasted Assault. Maximize. Prescient. Quickened. Reach. Spellbending again. So some of those are repeated for the Mind Blade just because the Psychic pool works different than the Arcana pool a little bit. So that's why I had them separate. But overall, those are your options. So yeah, pause the video at any point if you want to read up on those. But yes, those are the classes. So you've got the Magus, the Sorcerer Magus, the Sword Specialist Magus, the Archer Magus, you've got the Blood Rager Magus, Psychic Magus, Shield Magus, and the Druid Magus. So definitely check those out. I think this is a fun class to play. I think it's just a really good single class character. I would not multi-class with this character at all. It's just too good from all the different powers and bonuses you get. But that's the Magus. If you're new, welcome to Pathfinder. Welcome to CRPGs, whatever you're new to. It's an awesome time. Thanks for being here. If you're a veteran or you're new, check out this mod. Call of the Wild on the Nexus. I've got the links for all of the mods that I use in the description below. Definitely check those out because they're pretty sweet. And yeah, great. This is the Magus. Thanks for stopping by. I will catch you guys in the next one.